Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devi Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jaya Mudirayat Nashtaprayesu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhagavati Naistike. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd Canto, Chapter 20, verses 10 to 12. ये मरीचीयदय विप्र यस्तु शंभो मनुः ते वै ब्राह्मण आदेशात् कथम एतद् अभयभयम्. Word by word meaning. Ye, those. Marichi adyah, great sages headed by Marichi. Vipraha, brahmanas. Yah, who. Tu, indeed. Swayambhu Manohu, and Swayambhu Manu. They. By, indeed. Brahmanaha, of Lord Brahma. Adeshat, by the order. Katham, how. Etat, this universe. Abhayabayan, evolved. Word translation by His Divineness La Prabhupada. Translation. Vidura inquired, how did Prajapatis, such progenitors of living entities as Marichi and Swayambhu Manu, create according to the instruction of Brahma? And how did they evolve this manifested universe? Sadityaha kim asarjan swatantra uta karmashu ahasvit samatah sarva idam sma kalpayam. Word by word meaning. Sadityaha, with their wives, kim, whether, asrajan, created, swatantraha, remaining, independent, uta, or karmashu, in their actions, ahasvit, or else, samahataha, jointly, sarve, all the Prajapatis, idam, this, sma kalpayam, produced. Translation. Did they evolve the creation in conjunction with their respective wives? Did they remain independent in their action? Or did they all jointly produce it? Maitreya Uvacha, Daivena Durvitakena, Parena Amisena, Cha, Jata ko Sabda Bhagavata, Mahan Asid Gunatrayat, Maitreya Uvacha, Daivena Durvitakena, Parena Animishena Cha, Jata Shobhat Bhagavata, Mahan Asid Gunatrayat, Maitreya Uvacha. Maitreya said, Daivena, by superior management, known as destiny, Durbitarkyana, beyond empiric speculation, Parena, by Mahavishnu, Animishena, by the potency of eternal time, Cha, and Jata Shobhat, the equilibrium was agitated, Bhagavataha, of the personality of Godhead, Mahan, the total material elements, the Mahatattva, Ashit, were produced, Gunatrayat, from the three modes of nature. Translation and purport by His Divineness La Prabhupada. Translation. Maitreya said, when the equilibrium of the combination of the three modes of nature was agitated by the unseen activity of the living entity, by Mahavishnu, and by the force of time, the total material elements were produced. The cause of the material creation is described here very lucidly. The first cause is Daiva, or the destiny of the conditioned soul. The material creation exists for the conditioned soul who wanted to become a false lord for sense enjoyment. One cannot trace out the history of when the conditioned soul first desired to lord it over material nature. But in Vedic literature, we always find that the material creation is meant for sense enjoyment of the conditioned soul. There is a nice verse which says that the sum and substance of the conditioned soul's sense enjoyment is that as soon as he forgets his primary duty to render service to the Lord, he creates an atmosphere of sense enjoyment which is called Maya, that is the cause of material creation. Another word used here is Durbitarkyana. No one can argue about when and how the conditioned soul became desirous of sense enjoyment, but the cause is there. Material nature is an atmosphere meant only for the sense enjoyment of the conditioned soul, and it is created by the personality of Godhead. It is mentioned here that in the beginning of the creation, The material nature of Prakriti is agitated by the personality of Godhead Vishnu. There are three Vishnu mentioned here. One is Mahavishnu, another is Garbhodakshay Vishnu, and the third is Kshirodakshay Vishnu. The first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam discusses all these three Vishnus, and here also it is confirmed that Vishnu is the cause of creation. From Bhagavad Gita, also we learn that Prakriti begins to work and is still working under Krishna's or Vishnu's glance of superintendence. But the Supreme Personality of Godhead is unchangeable. One should not mistakenly think that because the creation emanates from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he has therefore transformed into this material cosmic manifestation. He exists in his personal form always, but the cosmic manifestation takes place by his inconceivable potency. The workings of that energy are difficult to comprehend, but it is understood from the Vedic literature that the conditioned soul creates his own destiny and is offered a particular body by the laws of the nature under the superintendence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who always accompanies him as Paramatma. Om Ajnana-timirandhasya Jnananjana-salakaya Chakyurmritam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadanti Swapadantikam Bandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Guru Vaishnavam Cha Sri Rupam Sagarjatam Sahagana Raghunadvitam Tam Sachivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sabishakhan Cha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhano Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpa Tarubhyascha Krupa Sindhu Vacha Patitanang Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namo Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktabinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Nilachara Nivasaya Nityaya Paramatmane Balabhadra Subhadrabhyam Jagannathaya Te Namam. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you for joining today for the Srimad Bhagavatam class. So these days we are discussing, from last few days we are discussing on chapter 20. So already 9 verses are discussed. So the subject matter is very beautiful between Vidura and Maitreya. Both of them are very learned. Vidura himself is very learned and he is basically son of Vasudeva and very close to Krishna also. Even, like Krishna considers him as one of the topmost Vaishnava, and Krishna took his association, in fact gave his association to Vidura during his trip to Hastinapur. Maitreya Muni also is very learned says. He has personal association of Uddhavaji, and he is very learned and he knows about Supreme Personality of Godhead a lot. So discussion between Maitreya and Vidura, both the learned persons, and since they know a lot about Krishna and coming under the parampara and superior knowledge, so the discussion is very powerful and very important for us to understand. And my knowledge on this beautiful subject matter is very limited, but with all of your blessing and guidance, I would like to glorify the subject matter for my own purification. So here, in the 9th verse, basically, we see that Vidura is starting to inquire to Maitreya Muni. So we know that Vidura is a learned person, a saintly person, and Vidura here is inquiring very submissively to Maitreya Muni. Here actually it has been Vidura is describing Maitreya Muni as Abhyakta Margabit. Basically, Abhyakta Margabit means Abhyakta. Abhyakta means what cannot be described, and what somebody cannot understand it. So Margabit means he knows that path. By going through that, one can understand it. So Abhyakta Margabit means that Vidura is saying that Maitreya Muni is knower of that which we do not know, which basically he doesn't know. So Vidura is a saintly person. Vidura doesn't know means definitely we also won't know it, because our knowledge in this Kali Yuga is very limited with our so-called imperfect and material senses. So there are certain things in this material world also we don't know. Forget about the spiritual universe. Like Vidura is inquiring here, how the universe is getting created, how this material universe is getting created, and how the jivas are getting created, who is the cause behind it, and how all these things are happening, which is in front of my eyes. I don't know from where it has come from. And Maitreya Muni, please describe me how and how, what is the cause of this creation. So all these things, like are beyond our imagination and beyond our perception. So our knowledge is very limited. We are basically infinite and small, and our Krishna is basically infinite. We are very, very limited, and our material senses are also very faulty. So with this faulty sense, it's very difficult to comprehend anything which is inconceivable to us. If something is looking very big and very huge, right? We don't know what is beyond that. So similarly, this material creation, whatever are seeing in front of us, is very difficult to comprehend. Forget about this material creation. Let's suppose to a small child or somebody asks, who is our father? We don't know who is our father because we have not seen. Like when our mother is giving us to birth, or when all those things happening to us, we don't know basically who is our father. So we cannot we cannot go and ask who is my father to everybody. So the best thing, like to ask to who is your father is, we have to, a child will approach to his mother, his or her mother, and ask, mother, who is my father? The mother will point that this is your father. Like that, we will come to know that this is your father. So we can challenge it. Yes, modern science is there. We can do a DNA test and we can understand that this is our father. So if we don't have any clue that this is our father, how many DNA tests we will do? So basically, the best upon best principle is to, which nobody will tell that is no, it's not true. That is, we have to approach our mother to understand that who is your father, because our mother is that time is the bona fide source. We can certify that he is our father. So similarly, to understand the inconceivable potency of the Lord, or whatever we are not able to understand, we have to approach a superior authority in disciplic succession. So that's what actually here Viduraji is inquiring to Maitreya Muni. Maitreya Muni basically is the superior authority here, and he is basically understanding everything from Uddhavaji, and that's why Maitreya Muni, that's why Viduraji is approaching Maitreya Muni, and he is describing his Abhyakta Margavi. So like we all, when we try to understand any scripture or anything about Supreme Person Godhead, or why we are here, like in this material universe, what is the cause we are here, any kind of doubt we have that what is my relationship with God. So what we should do, we should always approach a superior authority in a disciplic succession. Like we are reading Srila Prabhupada's books. Srila Prabhupada is not among with us, but Srila Prabhupada is always with us through his books and through his preachings and through his recordings. So we basically, when we have a doubt, we open Srimad Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita. Any verse we open, we get our answers over there. So why? Because Krishna has spoken Bhagavad Gita from his mouth, and it has been captured in Bhagavad Gita, and Prabhupada has translated it as it is. And if we see Bhagavad Gita was one of the pages, we see that the disciplic parampara is, like it is described here, how the Brahma Madhava Gauri Sampradaya is there, Brahma is there, from Brahma Narad Muni is there, from sequentially Madhavacharya is there, then our Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is there, then our Goswamis are there, then Srila Prabhupada is there. So that way, when we're coming, everything is coming through the disciplic succession, the inconceivable potency of the Lord, the whatever science is there, which we know is very difficult for us to comprehend, it becomes little bit clear to us, and we try to analyze it. Otherwise, we will just think that it's a Big Bang theory, and at the end we are kind of lost over there. So in order to understand the science of the creation or anything inconceivable, we should approach through a Abhyakta Margavi, basically who is the knower of the things which we do not know, and he should come from a disciplic succession. So we can see that Brahma is Abhyakta Margavi, and we discussed that Narada and Maitreya Muni, they are also is there. So here Viduraji is very submissively, he's inquiring his questions. So what are his questions? So in 10th and 11th, Viduraji has put few questions to Maitreya Muni. Viduraji is very much curious, and he is asking submissively. So Viduraji is asking that how did the Prajapatis, they create according to the instruction of the Brahma? Basically, Prajapatis are the first created by Brahmaji, and the two examples are here, Marichi and Swayambhu Manu. So he is inquiring how these Prajapatis create this material universe according to the instruction of Brahma. Then how did they evolve this manifested universe? Then later on he's asking, did they evolve this creation in conjunction with the respective wives? Or did they remain independent in their action? Or did they all jointly produce it? Like we see that he's asking that is the creation done by this the way normal like progeny is created by the man and woman? Otherwise, is the universe is getting created just like Brahma is created? Well, Brahma, we call him Swayambhu. Why we call him Swayambhu? Because he is not coming from any mother's womb. Basically, from he is coming from Vishnu's navel. A lotus stem is coming out, and the lotus stem top, we see Brahmaji is sitting. So he is Brahmaji's creation. It's not like an ordinary creation, like we see in case of common individual jivas. So here Viduraji is inquiring these questions like, is this universe material universe, whatever I'm seeing in front of me, these trees I'm seeing, these animals I'm seeing you, and seeing all these entities, all these men, women I'm seeing, all these animals I'm seeing, how they're created, all these objects I'm seeing, all the jada or all the movable and immovable entities I'm seeing, how they're created. Are they created? Are they independent of any material involvement, or are they just created just like Brahma is created, or are they created by the Prajapatis with their wives? So these are the questions Viduraji is asking to Maitreya Muni because he wants to understand about the creation. So then on the 12th verse, Maitreyaji is responding to Vidura's inquiry. He is responding. Basically, he is responding three things here, which we go to the verse, we'll come to see that. So in the verse, it is saying, Daivena, fasting, and the second is Parena Animeshana. Daivena Durbitakena and Parena Animeshana. Daivena means by the superior management known as the destiny, and Parena means by Mahavishnu. Then it says Animeshana cha, by the potency of the eternal time or Kala. These are the three factors. First is the destiny, and the second one is the Mahavishnu, the Parena, and the third one is the eternal time, the Kala. So Maitreya is saying there are three reasons for this creation. The first is Daivena, by the superior management known as destiny. Basically, if we see that we are coming to this material universe because we wanted to enjoy separately from Lord. We might have done something, that's why we are here. Like our acharyas have compared this material universe as a Durga. Basically, it's a correction center or a jail kind of thing. There are separate units are there. So why a person ends up in a correction center or jail? Because he wants to do something independently. He wants to do something separately. He steals something or he does something unethical. That's why he ends up in this correction center. So similarly, the conditioned soul, he doesn't understand what is his true nature. He wants to enjoy independently. He doesn't realize that basically his position is the eternal servant of God. He is basically Dasano Dasa. He is basically, his main purpose is to assist in the enjoyment of the Lord, not to enjoy independently. When he does that, when he becomes the Krishna Bimukhi, then what happens? Krishna wanted to fulfill his desire, and that's why at the end he comes to this material universe. Now, this desire of the conditioned soul is very, very dangerous. Like today, because of the desire, basically, we move from one place to another. Like today, I will desire that yes, I will go to temple. I will go to temple and do some services in the temple. Tomorrow, what will happen? Tomorrow, somebody will desire that, okay, not enough temple activities. Let me watch the movie tonight. So we'll watch the movie tonight, or we'll go to a theater, or we'll go to a friend's house to watch some cricket or some football or something we'll do. The next day, the sense gratification increases. We want to eat some in restaurant. Yes, some nice dosa is there. Let's go. So we'll go there. Then slowly, the desire part, increases. Like one step we take, right? The other step again is very easy to take. The next thing we desire to eat something, not palatable, not eatable kind of thing, which is not recommended for us. The conditioned soul desires to eat some non-veg food or food like that. Then he goes to and eats non-veg food. So he goes to different restaurants. Then he ends up slowly in the he wants to taste the taste of wine or intoxication. So he does that. So basically, because of the desire, the conditioned soul in this material universe also. Today he goes to one place, tomorrow he goes to other place. Like that, he also keeps on moving. Now the desire is not ending there. Like in between, what happens? Because The lifetime is limited. Nobody knows when the end is coming. So the jiva's last moment arises. That time, he's still having, some kind of enjoyment desire is within him. Sometimes when a person is living, right, the near and dear tell, whatever is your unfulfilled desire, tell will fulfill. The person will tell, yes, I want to eat this, I want to wear this, I want to do this activity, I want to donate this, like that, they will tell. But that is not actually desire. There are so many desires which are hidden within us, not from this lifetime, from our previous lifetime also. We are in this material world by surpassing through this 84 million species of life. So there are so many hidden desires are within us. So that also we also don't know. So these unrestricted enjoyments, what they call us, they make us to become slave of our senses. So instead of becoming becoming the master of senses, so that we will be utilizing them in Krishna service, what we become? We become the slave of the senses. So what do we do? Instead of becoming Goswami, we become a Godasha. Basically, we follow our senses wherever they are taking us. We basically go there. So then, what happens after the death? Also, since our desires are desires are kind of some balance is remaining, like the bank balance we have, right? So desires some balance are remaining there. So Supreme Personality of Godhead is so kind to us. So she facilitates us so that we are going to fulfill those desires. So then we get a different body and we basically come to this earth. But if we are we basically come to this earth. So that is the part of the Daivana, by the superior management or by destiny, we get a different body to come to this earth. Now, what is the difference between a human life or an animal life? The human life and animal life, the main distinction is that there is a proper amount of consciousness is there. Human being, like he can understand, he has some intelligence to understand why I'm suffering. Like suppose, there is a animal is there, the animal is being taken to a slaughterhouse. So animal won't react. Sometimes they don't even cry when they are going to the slaughterhouse. But when a human being is going to be get killed, he immediately react. Why are you going to kill me? What did I do? Then, like the God has given us enough intelligence. So that time when I realized that why I'm suffering, that Brahma Jigyasa, that thing, like arise within our mind. So we try to understand why I'm suffering, why we are here, like that. We try to think. So in this human life, right, we are here so that we can discriminate properly. We can discriminate between the right and wrong. We can discriminate what we should eat. We can discriminate what is, is the proper method for us. So that's why actually that is the difference between a human life and an animal life. So these animals, right, they don't have any restriction. They can do anything. They can eat anything. But when the human also goes into that category, like they want to eat anything and everything, they want to devour everything. Basically, human's body is made in such a way that our teeth or scientists say that we should be vegetarians. But what happens that we try to enjoy animals. We restrict the other animals' growth. We tell big words about ahimsa and all those things. But what we do? We try to kill other animals and we try to eat them. So basically, this is also another form of himsa. So what happens? The Lord facilitates at the end. Okay, today you are non-vegetarian, you are eating animals, you are not discriminating. No problem. So in the next life, the jiva gets a pig's body where he doesn't have to discriminate anything and he can eat whatever. Like today he is getting a banana, he will eat that. Tomorrow he will getting a stool, he will eat. The other day mud, whatever they get, the pigs basically eat. So basically this Daivana part is by the superior management and destiny. Because of our balanced desire, we get a different body. So next is the Parena. Parena basically is here is meaning by the Mahavishnu. So basically, how this Mahavishnu's role is coming here, like the Jiva desires, we say, right? And the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is sitting inside our heart as a Paramatma, basically, he sanctions based on our past karmic reactions, and the Mother Nature, basically, he facilitates. So Jiva is very insignificant and very small, and our desire is very unlimited. So Jiva wants to enjoy, and the Supreme Lord sanctions. So in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says a beautiful verse. Beautiful verse says that when we become basically Krishna Bahirmukha, when we become Krishna's Bahirmukha, then what we do? We want to enjoy. We want to basically enjoy that Bhoga Larasa, it arises within us. When the Bhoga Larasa arises within us, what happens? There is Maya or the illusion all around. Immediately that Maya vector will come and catch hold of us. And slowly, we will get into it. Like we discussed, like if we go into the mud one step, the second step going into the mud, basically it is very easy. Like the lotus pond will be there, there will be lotus inside a mud pond. So we don't realize that there is mud. The lotus is very lucrative to us and we want to get this lotus for us. So we put one step into the lotus. We put one step into the mud water. The mud basically pulls us in towards inside. So then we put the second step, it gets we slip into more into it, more deep into it, and finally we don't come out. So here Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying that as soon as we forget Krishna and we want to do things for our sense gratification, that is Maya. And as soon as we give up the process of sense gratification and do everything for Krishna, that is liberation. So one must try to understand that instead of Krishna Bahidmukha, he should put his face towards Krishna and he should try to enjoy or everything, whatever, not for his pleasure, only for Krishna's pleasure. So this material, otherwise what will happen? We'll constantly coming back to this material world. This material world is basically has been described as dukkhalam asvasatam. It is full of miseries and it's basically temporary. Now the next thing comes to our mind, why it is created. This material world actually is not created for Lord's pleasure. Lord is always, he is aloof from this material world. He is always in his abode, in his Samsundar form, playing a flute, enjoying with Radharani and with the gopis. He is always Atmaram. He doesn't have to do anything with this material world or material creation. So this material creation is for us. Like we can say that president of a country is there or prime minister of India is there. He doesn't have to create a jail for himself. Basically, the jail is created for the prisoners or for some persons who they think that they have to be reformed. Similarly, this material world of the correction centers with the different cells and some basic amenities has been created for us. So going through these amenities, we sometimes think, yes, I am I am having better facilities. But basically, we can understand that we are a better prisoner. We are basically in jail. In India, we see that some prisoners have better facilities. They have TV with them. They have fridges with them. So similarly, we can understand that though we are in this material world having some kind of facilities to us, we are basically here as a prisoner, and our goal should be to come out of this material world and go to our real abode, which is Bhagavad Dham, which is Lord Krishna's abode. So Krishna is waiting for us over there. Now, how this material universe is getting created. Now there is basically Karnatakshay Vishnu is there. From Karnatakshay Vishnu or Mahavishnu, so many universe basically comes out from his pores. Now, as Garbhodakshay Vishnu, he enters into each of this universe. And then the 14 planetary system gets created and the jivas are created. And then Krishna as Kshirodakshay Vishnu, he basically enters into each living atoms. Whether it is a living soul or living entity or non-living entity, Krishna enters everywhere. The third part is basically animation. Basically that is the eternal time. No, the time basically, the Kala factor is very, very important. The Kala factor is basically, in Srimad Bhagavatam, it has been described as a deadly sharp razor. Nobody knows when it started, but it is always awake. It is watching 24 hours. Whenever we are sleeping, but the Kala is watching and we don't realize what time it is coming. So many unfulfilled desires are there. What time the Kala is going to come and cross it through our material body, we don't realize. So Maitreya Muni is very beautifully describing these three factors here, the Daipena, Parena, and Animishana. Basically, the destiny part, what a jiva actually makes for him or her, then the arrangement of Mahavishnu by creating all these universes, then the essence of the potency of the Kala factor are the three factors for the creation of this material universe. Later on, in the subsequent verses, we will go more into detail about how Maitreya Muni is describing to Vidurji about this, how this universe is getting created. So with this, we would like to end today's discussion. Anything or any suggestions, maybe we can take it in the WhatsApp group. Thank you so much. Haribol.
Thank you very much, Mataji. We would like to wish you all a safe and Krishna conscious day ahead. And we would like to pray to the Supreme Lord by chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare
Rama
Hare.
Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Hare.
Hare Hare.
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Rama Rama, Hare
Rama
Hare.
Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Hare.
Krishna, Hare
Hare Rama, Hare
Rama,
Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Shri Nrsimha, Jai Nrsimha, Jai Jai Nrsimha, Praladesha, Jaya Padma, Mukha Padma Bringam, Ugra Veera Mahavishnu, Jalantam, Sarvata Mukham, Nrsimham, Vishnam, Bhadram, Mitra, Mityam, Namamyam. Nrsimha Bhagwan ki Jai. Lord Maharaj ki Jai.
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 Let's offer our humble obeisances to all the Samar Vaishnavas. Vancha kalpatarusya
Patitanam
Patitanam Pavanavayo Vaishnave Vaishnavinda ki
Jai.
Granth Srimad Bhagavatam ki
Jai.
Prabhupada ki
Jai.
Lord Premanande
Hari Hari
Hari
Hari
Hari
Bol.
Bol.
Thank you, Prem Sarvar Mataji. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Hari Bol. Hare Krishna.
Mataji, wonderful class. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.